Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Patrice, and today we are going to be doing a little bit of embroidery. We're going to be making patches on our RICOMA EM1010 today. So we'll walk through all the steps to get patches made, and these patches you can go ahead and place heat and bond on the back of them. You can stitch them onto something. It all depends on what you like to do and how you like to apply them, but we are just going to walk through the process of creating these patches with our embroidery machine. Let's get started. All right guys, so we're going to start out by hooping our stabilizer and felt. I will be using Mighty Hoops, and this is the 8x13 Mighty Hoop. This is the hooping station. You can hoop without the station, but I do find the station to be a lot more stable for hooping, and I never have to rehoop, or rarely ever have to rehoop. So we're just going to place this here. We're going to lift this top part up, and we're going to place that right there. I'll bring it down. Now today we are going to be using cutaway stabilizer for our backing, okay? So, or for our stabilizer. So I'm just going to measure this and cut a piece off. Okay, our stabilizer is cut. I'm going to lift these flaps. And we're going to place the stabilizer right here. After that, we're going to close the flaps to keep this in position. And then I'm going to grab a piece of felt. Now, sometimes what I'll do for my patches is that I'll hoop the felt or twill if I choose to use twill material or any other material for the backing, or sometimes I'll float it. Okay, today we're going to just go ahead and hoop it. All right, so we have our felt on top, so we have the cutaway stabilizer, and now we have a piece of white felt. Again, you can use other material, twill, but you want a material that is not stretchy. You don't want your material to stretch, okay? And this is going to be the back end. Now we are going to then get the top part of the Mighty Hoop, and we're just going to have it go on top like that. Okay. Let's see how this hooped. Looks like it should have hooped pretty good. All right, so this is our hoop, and this is the back, and that back looks like it hooped and sounds like it hooped really good. So now we're going to get ready to head over to our machine. All right guys, so we are at the RICOMA EM1010, and that's what we will be using today. Now they call this machine the Creator, and there are a few different parts of the machine. It runs exactly the same, however there's a different panel, and there's other ways to make maintenance on your machine a lot more accessible. So those are a few changes with the machine, but for the most part, they're both 10 needle embroidery machines. All right, so we are going to head to File. This is the panel, and this is where we will be controlling everything that we do. Okay, so I'm just gonna head right here to where there's like 3 overlapping stars, and we're going to select File. Now I already have a USB in here, and the design is loaded onto the USB. And so we're just going to remove the design from the USB and place it onto the machine. Okay, so these are the files on the USB. And if it doesn't come up with the files, you want to click onto this little flash drive right there. Okay, so we're going to select the file that I want, and this is it right here. And we're going to be making patches, and it just brought it up for us. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is there is a little icon here with an image of a machine with an arrow, and now that I have it selected, I'm going to select that to actually load it onto the machine. So we're going to press there. It's loading. Okay, and so now I'm going to select this machine icon right here. We're going to select that, and then all of my files will come up. All of the files that I have on this machine will come up. Okay, And so we're going to just scroll to page 7 because it's going to be the last one there. Okay, so here we have that file right here. Okay, then I'm going to select OK. Okay, there's our file. And if you look here, you see the actual hoop. Well, we don't have to adjust the hoop, but if you're going to change your hoop, you're just going to go to Design Set. And then you would select here. We have our D hoop selected. I'm not changing my hoop, but you would change your hoop here. Okay. And then if you need to adjust your size, I wouldn't go lower than 90% or higher than 90%. You would do it here. And then you could also rotate your design depending on what you want to do. So this would just help you to create more rows. But I already brought mine in like this. Now that we have the design loaded, it's time for us to select our colors. So we're going to head to where we see these 3 spools of thread, and we're going to select the color. So for the first color, we're going to use black, and black is number 1 on the machine, and then we're going to go to white, which is number 4. Those are the only 2 color options. If you look, I can't go anyplace else because this design only uses 2 colors. Right now, the machine is on automatic manual, meaning after every color stop, it's going to stop. But I don't necessarily need it to be on automatic manual, definitely not manual. So we're going to put it back onto automatic, where it'll just flow. Okay, it won't stop. All right, so that's looking good. I'm going to select OK. Another thing you can do is you can adjust the speed of your stitches. So I'm going to amp this up to about 800 and see how it stitches. I may increase it even more, or I may reduce the speed, but for now we're going to start at 800. Okay, and then we're going to get ready and hoop our machine. All right, guys, so now we're going to place the hoop onto the machine. It's nice and in place. And then we're going to head back over to the panel so that we can begin our embroidery. And I am going to select the trace icon here so that we can trace it. Enter embroidery status. Yes, okay. All right, guys, so now we're going to do a more detailed trace, and you may want to get a pen or a stick or something where you can hold it down while it's going. Okay, so I'm going to just hold it down. We're going to get a more contoured trace so that we can make sure that it's definitely not going to hit anything we don't want it to hit. And this is a good practice to use with all projects. Because this is literally following the exact outline of the design. All right, so we're good. All right, that's good. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get ready and press start. If you notice, our start light is on. We have bobbin inside of our bobbin case, and let's select start.
Alright guys, so if you have multiple patches that you want to make, this is definitely the way to do it. I love bulk stitching because it gives me time to go and do other things that I may need to do. This stitch out took a little over an hour to get all of these patches complete, and I was able to complete other projects that I needed to do, and also a few things around the house that I needed to get done as well. So I would totally recommend doing projects like this where your machine is doing all the work and it frees up your hands. Now, for those of you who may be wondering, well, what does this patch say? It says straight out of the journal. And every week, Delonda of Crafting with Delonda and I, we go live either Saturdays or Sundays, and we complete an embroidery project, or we have an embroidery Q&A to discuss different things about embroidery that we've learned, and we like to share that with others. So if you have never visited us during a So Good weekend, please visit our channels. We alternate channels, and we usually showcase, or no, we always showcase the RICOMA Marquee 2001. Today I am using the RICOMA EM1010, which is a 10 needle embroidery machine. So we're gonna go ahead and let this finish stitching out. So I almost forgot to tell y'all what the jana is, and the jana, you have to watch So Good to really understand what the jana is, but it is when things don't always go right, and sometimes when they don't go right, we can't just go and hide, we can't just turn the live off, and so we literally enter into the jana, and it goes down in the jana, y'all. When we get into the jana, it goes down. Sometimes we can pull ourselves out of the jana, but other times we end up going deeper and deeper and deeper into the jana, and there's a whole lot of shenanigans and just a lot of things go on in the jana. Alright guys, so it's all done, and I've removed our hoop from the machine, and we will be cutting these patches up. Now I'm just going to get a pair of fabric scissors and cut these out. Once you're done cutting them out and you're ready to place them on your garment, you can either use some heat and bond, or you can glue it on. They have fabric glue, or you can stitch it on. I do find that stitching the patches directly onto your garment, that's generally the best, and I do prefer that, but I do use various different methods, either heat and bond, fabric glue, or stitching it directly onto the garment. But these are so cute, and I cannot wait to share these with others.
All right, y'all, we're all done with making our patches, and everything turned out great. Hopefully you all found this video helpful. If you want to see more embroidery content, definitely check out our weekend lives. So Good. Crafting with Delonda and I host a weekly live showcasing embroidery. So I would love it if you would check us out. We have so many different projects that we do weekly, and we also just kind of talk a little bit about embroidery sometimes. Sometimes we just have Q&As. So check us out. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to head over to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and join the Craftable Things communities there as well. But that's it for today, y'all. Thank you all so very much for watching. Until next time.